Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Clarissa on behalf of the Philippine Sports Commission Women in Sports. Welcome to Rise Up and Shape Up, the sixth episode. Today, we will be discussing about nutrition. Well, everybody has been struggling about diets, and there have been so many different fads such as keto and intermittent fasting, especially that the holidays are coming now. It's going to be again a battle of whether to eat healthy or whether to indulge. So today we will be discussing about how important our food intake is and how it affects us and our overall health. And before we introduce our speakers, of course, we would like to ask the Oversight Commissioner of Women in Sports, Commissioner Celia H. Kiram, for an important message.
When Rise Up, Shape Up began 5 episodes ago, the Philippine Sports Commission and its Women in Sports program wanted women and girls to adopt a healthy lifestyle, calling them to rise above present challenges by shaping up an active lifestyle. However, health and wellness is more than that. A holistic approach to health and wellness includes a balanced mix of our physical, mental, emotional, and nutritional care. While the Philippine Sports Commission is the national agency tasked to promote and develop sports excellence in Filipinos, we at the Philippine Sports Commission acknowledge that this level of excellence is achieved through a body that is holistically healthy and well. If you have noticed, Rise Up, Shape Up has crafted its episodes to consistently feature physical activities, mental exercises, and psychological discussion related to the topic of the day. Physical health, check. Mental, emotional health, we got that covered for you as well. So, to enable us to give you, our dear viewers, a complete guide to health and wellness, another spotlight will be given to proper nutrition and diet in today's episode to keep you fueled up for your day-to-day activities. Expect a healthy discussion on proper nutrition and diet, which will dish out tips on what to eat to make you go, grow, and glow. Moreover, today's episode will help you better understand your eating behaviors and habits and guide you through mindful eating. Your 100% is made up of a strong body, mind, and emotion, powered by the right kind of food. PSC wants you to achieve that through sports and movement, mental and emotional care, and proper nutrition and diet. Let us all make conscious choices towards our health and wellness. Good morning, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Kiram, for that very inspiring message. I agree. Indeed, want to attain a holistic approach in wellness, one must not only consider a healthy body and a healthy mind, but we should also consider healthy eating habits. And because of that, we have upcoming videos of these empowered women to share with us their choice of diet and nutrition and its importance in maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Hi, my name is Sharon Acevedo, and I am a certified group fitness instructor here in Quezon City. Today, I do want to share with you some of the things that I do to stay healthy. We all know good nutrition plays a big part in staying healthy. And one of the questions I get asked a lot of times is, what is your dietary practice? Do you do fasting, keto, vegan? Well, to be honest, I probably have done, if not all, of the diet programs out there. And what really works out for me and has a long-term effect is meal planning. So I do meal prep on a weekly basis. You're wondering, what do I eat every day and if I do a strict diet? No, I don't follow a strict diet. And I do eat pretty much everything every day. Yes, you heard that right. I do eat everything. How do I do that? It's all about healthy choices and portion control. So I do eat clean food, meaning I cook my food 90% of the time, so I know exactly what's in it. That's my clean food, and I do it all in moderation. I still eat cake, but like I said, I do it in moderation. I use portion control. Don't use a lot of processed food to cook my food.
Hi everyone, it's Christine Tuciasiran Santos. I'm a runway model and pageant coach, and I live in Sydney, Australia. In the morning, I usually eat a toast with cheese. It's a sliced cheese that I love actually, and I eat it with orange juice. But sometimes if my breakfast is a banana bread, toast banana bread with butter, then I love to have coffee with it, a caramel latte. Lunchtime, I don't really usually spend time at home during the day. I am very, very, very busy. So my lunchtime is usually in a restaurant almost every day because I'm working, and I do some stuff and all that with this Mrs. Universe. So I would love to eat charcoal chicken with steamed veggies. Yes, I'll still eat healthy. And I love pasta. I love spaghetti bolognese and lasagna. And then sometimes I eat Caesar salad. But with Caesar salad, I try to eat with Caesar salad is roast pork. Yes, roast pork. I love roast pork. And at nighttime, dinner time, if I have time to cook, I try to cook steamed fish with spring onions, and on the side a salad and a bit of a rice. I like the jasmine rice. So if I have time, I cook that. But if I don't have time, which usually I don't have time, I still buy food, but I choose healthy food still. I eat some Thai food, but nutritious food. And so that's my diet. But during weekends, of course, that is my cheat day. Saturday and Sunday, I'm endorsing 2 restaurants at the moment. So these 2 restaurants are Filipino restaurants. So Saturday and the other restaurant, and the Sunday is the other one. So that's when I eat this Filipino food. I love adobo, kare-kare, piccadilly, pancit, and bopis. They're my favorite. That's the only thing that I actually eat in a Filipino restaurant.
Hi, I'm Desiree Ching. I am first and foremost a mom, a wife. I used to be a producer for news and for cooking shows, and I am also an artist, and I also do media consultancy work. Regarding our daily dietary habits at home, first and foremost, my belief is the fresher the ingredients, the better. So we go to the market every day and make sure that fresh catch and like fish, vegetable, and we can also have chicken or meat. But most of the time, our family, we eat fish and vegetables. And I also incorporate salad in our diet. If I can get it fresher, that's the better. And then we try to avoid chemicals and the powders and all the other add-ons. We get the better butter. We invest on the better quality olive oil. If we want cheese, we try to get better quality cheese. I think health is an investment, especially what you put in your body. But we also cheat. There are also cheat days. For example, who doesn't want snacks? So if my children want snacks, I would prefer that they eat the nachos that are the corn chips, the actual corn chips, hindi the baked ones. And then I make the salsa myself with the real tomatoes. Do it from scratch. That's what we would do at home. Because in our house, especially in Pampanga, people love to eat. So the flavor should always be first and foremost in our diet. We constantly try to improve the flavor and the taste. Ako, as a mom, I would always encourage my children to taste. You don't have to finish it all, just taste a little bit. If you taste a little bit and you don't like it, it's okay. Parang ganon. So parang, at least you won't say, oh, I just don't like it because it's color green. Yung parang ganon. So that's how I treat my children when it comes to eating vegetables. Of course, I try to hide it also. There was a time I juiced a carrot, and then half of the liquid is chicken stock boiled from actual chicken. And then I used both the carrot juice and the chicken stock in cooking rice. They ate it. So it's how you also present and how you teach them that there are a lot of flavors available. You should at least be aware that the food is not just the fast food. When it comes to the actual cooking, I prefer baking, grilling. Of course, I also put a little bit of oil kasi syempre it might not taste as good. But we choose the oils that we incorporate in our food. Mostly olive oil, canola oil, like that. So vegetable oil. It's very important that we have to invest in the quality of food that we serve our family. And also, because I have health issues like in my kidneys, when I was it's a hereditary. I eat less salt. Basically, that's it. We eat less salt, less sugar, but we will not compromise with the taste. Of course, as much as possible, we want to eat good food, but prepared healthier and prepared with better ingredients.
Rise up and shape up. Rise up and shape up. Rise up and shape up. Rise up and shape up.
Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your videos and sharing to us your dietary practices and eating habits. It's definitely a lot of stuff for our minds to digest. Now, to discuss more about proper nutrition and its impact on one's performance, especially for highly active women and athletes, we have with us holistic nutrition with culinary arts from Manila Titania Colleges. She earned her online diploma in sports nutrition from Shaw Academy and has had several speaking engagements on sports nutrition. She is a registered nutritionist, dietitian, and is part of the Philippine Sports Commission's Medical Scientific Athletic Services team. Let us all welcome Miss Ashley Villa.
that, hello to our participants. I will be sharing to you the nutrition for highly active individuals and athletes. Our outline in this lecture consists of letter A, let us know how female benefits on being physically active. Letter B, the health concerns and detrimental effects on performance due to poor nutrition habits. Letter C, the macros and micronutrients essential for women. Ano-ano nga ba itong mga to? Letter D, I will also be sharing to you some sample dietary intake in exercising. And lastly, letter E, I will also share some nutrition tips to attain body goals. Okay, so let's start. Okay. In these times, no, the participation in sports has greatly increased compared to before. Kaya lang, according to research, adolescent females athletes nowadays face a larger energy and nutrition challenges. Bakit nga ba? No? Due to the need for energy and nutrients for growth while having limited knowledge about proper food selection for sports and weight management. So for females engaging to sports, they have several benefits compared to those who are not physically active. So as you can see here, ito po yung mga health benefits. So let's start. First, no, it levels up our cardiovascular health. As cardiovascular disease is one of the leading cause of mortality in the Philippines. Okay. Next, we have the prevention of diabetes. Diabetes is a growing health problem in female youths and adults because of obesity and lack of physical activity. Professional advice is to have a regular aerobic exercise, no, such as brisk walking, jogging, no, to increase insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. Meaning nito, no, the body cells can more efficiently transport blood glucose or blood sugar into the liver, muscles, and other parts of the body. Okay. Third, prevents developing hypertension. Elevated blood pressure are associated, of course, with a high risk of developing coronary heart disease, congestive heart failure, stroke, and kidney failure. So reducing weight and balanced diet is the key to prevention of hypertension. Okay, next, muscle mass, strength, power, and endurance. These are the essential contributing factors in improvement of musculoskeletal health and moving capabilities. Physically active females also prevents the development of sarcopenia. Ano nga ba yung sarcopenia? The age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. Okay? And last, mood state. Okay? Exercising feels good, right? No? According to professionals, 25 to 60 minutes of aerobic exercise can increase positive mood feelings while decreasing negative mood feelings. So that are the summarize of health benefit that we can get from exercising. Okay. Now we move on to health concerns and detrimental effects on performance due to poor nutrition. So female athletes are at risk for having body image issues. Females tend to have a body dissatisfaction with body shape and the body that they perceive as being ideal, no, to them. Okay. Another risk that they can develop is eating disorders such as anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorders, which places them at risk in having menstrual disorders or irregularity. Okay. Another effect of eating disorder is having a low bone mineral density due to lack of nutrients in our bones. Okay. And lastly, negative energy balance. We attain this, no, through high intensity exercises but low low food intake. Mas mataas ang level ng physical activity kaysa sa kinakain. So, in summary, tinatawag din natin tong calorie deficit. There will also be an energy gap during exercises. Okay. Okay. These are the cause and effect of poor nutrition in exercising. Okay. First, we have inadequate energy to meet energy demands. Mas mataas kasi no, yung required energy ng ating athletes and other active female individuals compared to those who are inactive. We encountered problems with this kapag nagre-reduce ng food intake yung isang individual for weight loss. So with this, you put your body at risk kasi mas bumababa yung immunity natin na panlaban natin sa mga infectious diseases. Okay. Second, eliminating food groups like ito yung mga napapansin ko lagi na ini-eliminate is yung carbohydrates, no, in form of fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables, alam naman natin, they are packed with vitamins and minerals na nagpo-protect sa atin during physical activity and after physical activity. So this one, it can reduce the absorption of nutrients that give energy and the important nutrients derived from these foods. Okay. Third, food timing. No? Inappropriate food timing, intake, and types of food around exercise can also hindrance the performance and recovery. So kaya important na may enough fuel tayo before, during, and after physical activity. Lastly, inadequate intake of macro and micronutrients. Ano nga ba itong mga to? Okay. Macronutrient, ito yung mga nagbibigay sa atin ng energy or meron silang calories. We have is carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Female active individuals have energy intakes that do not match their high level of energy expenditure kasi they restrict their energy intake coming from this group, especially yung carbohydrates, to lose body fat to achieve their desired body size. Okay. Then next, we have protein. Okay. Protein is responsible for structure, function, and regulation of body's tissues and organs. So mostly need to for recovery nutrition combined with carbohydrates. Next, or the last macronutrient that we have is fat. Okay, fat is the secondary source of energy during exercise. Fat is also needed for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Okay. Lack of these nutrients, female athletes or physically active individuals can experience fatigue, injuries, impairment of immunity, slow metabolic rate, and lack of improvement on performance. Okay. Then we proceed to micronutrient. Okay. The most common micronutrient that are lacking, no, with female athletes are these three: the iron, calcium, and vitamin D. Iron, okay, iron. Women tend to lose iron every month because of menstruation. The main function of iron is to transport and store oxygen. No? It helps increases the energy for better athletic performance. Deficiency may weaken immune system activity. Ano nga ba yung mga food na mataas sa iron? First, we have meat. Okay, and then liver is also rich in iron. Seafoods, legumes, yan yung mga matataas sa iron. Okay, better if you will incorporate foods rich in ascorbic acid like vitamin C, no, to help absorb iron efficiently. Okay. Next, we have calcium, vitamin D. These are the crucial mineral for bone health. Okay, mineral and vitamin. Calcium is also important in muscle contraction, nerve impulse transmission, stabilization of blood pressure, and secretion of hormones. This is the most abundant nutrient in our body. So food sources of calcium, it includes like dairy products, no, yung mga yogurt, yung cheese, milk, okay? Also sardines is packed with calcium, crabs, soybean, coconut water, and also our mineral water. Okay? Vitamin D. Vitamin D promotes absorption of calcium. The food sources of vitamin D includes food items that are enriched or fortified, no, with vitamin D, such as cow's milk, no, fortified cow's milk, fortified cereals, fortified oatmeal, and even rice, no, and orange juice. Tapos ano pa yung mga natural source na may vitamin D? Okay, we have the egg yolk, tuna, and liver. Okay. Now, I will be sharing to you some dietary intake for highly individual athletes. Okay. So we have here the food timing and food items. So food items, pwede naman ninyong palitan ito. Ito'y sample lamang. Okay. Ito'y sample lamang. Okay. Food timing. 3 hours before exercise, you must consume, no, you must eat at least 1 cup of rice, 1-piece vegetable omelette, or any kind of protein or meat that you have. Let's say if you have chicken adobo, 1-piece chicken adobo, okay lang yun. And then 1 slice watermelon, and then water. Okay, huwag kakalimutan uminom ng water. Okay. Next, if you don't have enough time, no, 1 hour before exercise, you must also eat, no, to fuel your energy, to fuel your exercise. Okay. Food item example is 2 pieces plain biscuit, and then papalaman natin siya ng 15 grams of tuna or 3 tablespoons of tuna, then orange juice and water. Mapapansin natin dito, mas less yung fiber intake natin pag malapit na yung workout natin. Okay, para hindi sumakit yung tiyan natin. Okay? During exercise naman, okay, during exercise, we can consume sports drink or water. Kasi during physical activity, hindi naman tayo nakakakain ng solid food, no? So sports drink have enough sugar and other electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, no, na kailangan natin during physical activity. Okay? We proceed now with recovery. Within 30 minutes after exercise, we recommend to have chocolate milk drink or soy milk. Okay? At least 240 ml of it. Okay na yun. Okay? And then after 40 to 60 minutes after exercise, kailangan kakain ka ulit. Okay? Ano yung pwede natin kainin dito? Dito ay mas madami na. Okay? A cup of rice, a cup of pinakbet, 1-piece grilled chicken, 1-piece banana, and water. Okay? So yan yung sample dietary intake natin for highly active individuals. Yeah. Okay? Lastly, here are some nutrition tips to maintain a healthy body. First, no, maintain a healthy body weight. Since females have more body fat due to hormones, yung estrogen hormones, we are capable of increasing body weight. Make sure to know your BMI or ideal body weight for your guidance. For our athletes, we use ideal body weight or their category weight when we're giving diet for them. Okay? Once you become obese kasi, reducing body weight back to a healthy weight range requires a significant effort over a span of time or even years. Mas mahirap, no, na mag-bounce back yung weight natin kapag naghinto tayo mag-consume ng healthy diet. Okay? Next, balancing calories with physical activity. So it's important to have a balanced calories. Dapat yung energy content ng food is matched with the total amount of energy that is expended by the body. So tama lang dapat yung kinakain natin versus dun sa ine-exercise natin. Okay? Tinatawag na energy balance. Okay? Next, avoid too much comfort eating. So, try to make sure na when you eat, you are hungry, okay? And not because of emotional reasons like when you are feeling sad or stress, no? Stress eating. Yun. Comfort eating on a regular basis may lead to weight gain, okay? That can further lead to obesity. Okay? Next, fiber. Consume fiber-rich foods. No? Ang fiber-rich food, ito yung mga example ay cereals, grains, fruits and vegetables. So as mapapansin ninyo, ito yung mga plant-based food. Yung fiber kasi, marami siyang benefit sa ating body, especially no, kung mataas yung mga triglycerides, cholesterol, kasi in our small intestine, no, hindi kasi na-absorb yan si fiber. So, yung fiber, ina-attract niya yung cholesterol. So, instead na tong cholesterol ay mapunta sa iba't ibang bloodstream natin, okay, na-excrete siya. No? Na-excrete yung cholesterol kasama ng fiber sa ating outside, no, palabas ng ating katawan. Okay? Next, water intake. Okay? If you are physically active, you are also at risk in developing dehydration, no? Which has a lot of detrimental effects in the body that can hinder performance. Make sure to keep hydrated. Always drink fluids, no? Like a plain water to keep you on track. And lastly, okay, take a good rest every day. All these advices will not be effective kung restless and stressed tayo. Make sure to have a time for yourself and listen to your body. To end this is my piece of advice. Okay? You don't have to eat less. You just have to eat right. Okay? And that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for that very informative sharing. Now we may call back Commissioner Kiram for a short Q&A.
Good morning, Ashley. It's nice to have you here in Rise Up, Shape Up. May mga question lang kami sa iyo, no? Anong pwede mong i-advise sa mga taong nahihirapan makamit yung kanilang target body weight, yung targeted body weight nila? Katulad ko.
Okay. Good morning, Com. Thank you for that question. Okay. So, kung titingnan natin, mukhang medyo madali lang yung question, no? Pero it takes time and patience, no, para talaga mag-lose ng body weight. In 2 weeks, no, a healthy body weight loss, no, dapat 2.2 kilos per 2 weeks, no, ang weight loss natin, healthy weight loss. Okay? Ano ba yung mga dapat nating gawin, no? Number 1, syempre, dapat may physical activity tayo. Okay? Hindi yun mawawala. And second, no, kumain tayo ng balanced diet. Okay? Pag sinabi namin balanced diet, hindi natin kailangan iwasan yung kanin. Okay? Switch lang tayo siguro sa quality ng kakainin natin pagkain. So for example, sa rice, we can have a brown rice, no, instead of white rice. Ayan. And then if we have bread, no, white bread, we can have at least wheat bread, no? Kasi itong mga to ay matataas siya sa fiber and other vitamins na nakakatulong sa ating katawan. And you can consume at least, no, more than 1 cup of vegetables, no, dahil itong mga vegetables na to ay packed with vitamins and minerals na kailangan ng ating katawan. Also, additional fruit intake, okay? Huwag natin kakalimutan yung fruits, no? At least a banana, kung ano yung mga madali nating pwedeng bilhin, no? Yan yung mga pwede nating kainin. Okay? And then, huwag natin kakalimutan yung tubig. Okay? Actually, isa sa strategy para mas mabusog ka, no, pagka kumakain ka, is to take a lot of fluids. So, yun lamang po, yun lang ang ating secret, no? It takes time talaga para mag weight loss kasi kapag ito'y binigla mo, no, maraming health risk na pwedeng mangyari sa ating katawan. So, yun. Thank you po, Com.
What tip naman can you give to our viewers para doon sa nahihirapang kumuha ng kanilang proper nutrition, yung katulad ng mga supplies in this time of pandemic? Kasi alam ko marami ang wala sa market ngayon, no? So, ano yung pwede mo ma-advise sa kanila?
Okay. So, naintindihan ko, yan din po yung mga dilemma, no, na nakakaharap ko almost every day kasi hindi nakakalabas, hindi nakakapunta ng palengke, no? Syempre ayaw natin mag-risk, no? And hindi rin nakakapunta ng grocery. Another option is to buy online, no, na i-deliver na lang sa inyo yung mga food products, no? As much as possible, iwasan natin na bumili ng fast food. Okay? Kung meron kayong mahanap, no, na home-based food, no, which is number one, titingnan natin yung food safety, no? Malinis ba yung pagbibili natin ng food? Okay? So, yun po. And then, kung bibili tayo ng food products, no, pwede tayong bumili ng gulay, prutas, no, ay yung mga kangkong, kangkong. And then, pwede rin naman tayong mag-intake ng mga protein like meats na pwede natin ma-store sa ating ref ng mas matagal yung shelf life, like yung mga chicken, no, it takes 6 months basta frozen. So, yun, para hindi mag-sacrifice yung nutrients ng ating katawan. And also, additional food din po doon is buy milk. Okay? Milk is also packed with a lot of vitamins, B vitamins, no, na pwede rin nating i-add sa ating diet. So, yun lamang po.
That's it for now, Ashley. Thank you so much for your time. Back to you, Clarissa.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Karam and Ashley, for that very informative sharing. What we eat definitely has an impact on our bodies and our minds. Moving on to our next speaker, she is a graduate of Master in Public Health, major in Health Promotion and Education from the Adventist University of the Philippines. She earned her diplomate from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. She is a registered nutritionist, dietitian, and trained diabetes educator and renal nutritionist. She is currently the Associate Lifestyle Medicine Director of the Adventist Medical Center, Manila. Let us all welcome Miss Eden Elisa.
Hi everyone, thank you for this opportunity to share with you the topic, your nutrition and you. Naniniwala po ba kayo sa kasabihan na you are what you eat? Ibig sabihin po noon, yung mga kinakain daw po natin ay siyang magiging ikaw o ako. Bakit po? Dahil yung ating pong mga pagkain ay malaking kinalaman yan para po ma-build yung ating katawan. So dahil po nagkakaroon ng breakdown yung mga tissues natin at kailangan po ng repairing ng ating katawan, pati po yung organs natin, ito daw po ay lahat nakukuha natin sa ating pagkain. So yung ating brain, yung ating puso, yung ating buong katawan ay kailangan po proper nutrition. At kaya po importante na pipiliin natin yung nutrisyon na para po dito. So ano ba yung right eating? Kailangan po na piliin natin kung ano yung mga dapat nating kakainin. Sabi po dito sa International Association of Athletic Federations, well-chosen foods will help athletes train hard, reduce risk of illness and injury, and achieve performance goals, regardless of the diversity of events environments, nationality, and level of competitors. Ibig sabihin yan, lalo na yung mga talagang nag-i-engage sa mga sports, sa mga physical activities, kailangan po yung ating mga kinakain ay well chosen. Kaya importante yung right eating para hindi lang tayo manalo o para lang maitawid natin yung ating mga sinasalihan. Bagkos kasama po dito is yung dapat maging malakas tayo, makaiwas tayo sa mga sakit. Ngayon po, when we say eating right, let's just start with a very simple word na carbohydrates. Ito po, lahat tayo familiar tayo dito, lalo na yung mga athletes natin. Dahil lagi natin naririnig yung carbo loading. Okay, ano ba yung mga dapat nating kakainin? Now, sa carbohydrates po, meron tayong tinatawag na simple carbohydrates. Ito po yung mga iniinom natin, yung mga sugar drinks, yung mga simple candies natin, simple carbohydrates, which is the candies, yung biscuits po natin, at pati yung mga pastries, at ganun din po yung mga donuts and chocolates. Ito po yung mga simple carbohydrates na kung saan mabilis siya mag-convert into blood sugar. Kailangan po natin ng carbohydrates para po masustain yung energy natin during the performance. And we do carbo loading, hindi lang during the performance, but before the performance. So yung workout natin, yung ating preparation, pero we highly recommend that you do not focus lang dun sa simple carbohydrates, kundi doon sa complex carbohydrates. Kasi ito mga complex carbohydrates, makakatulong talaga to, lalo na pag halimbawa ang workout mo ay pangmatagalan at gusto mo talagang kasama yung mga essential nutrients dun sa kinakain mo. Kasi yung mga simple carbohydrates, sila yung mga natanggalan na ng mga essential nutrients like thiamine, halimbawa yung whole wheat bread na naging puting tinapay, yung brown rice na tinanggalan ng mga hibla, ng mga fibers, ng mga thiamine, ng mga essential nutrients, at nagiging puti na siya. So gusto natin na kakain tayo ng carbohydrates yung more on dun sa complex dahil nandoon hindi lang yung carbohydrates na kailangan natin for energy, kundi yung mga essential nutrients para maging malakas tayo at talaga overall meron tayong magandang pangangatawan. Now, isa sa mga dietary practices ng elite Ethiopian runners, they have found out na ang ganda nung kanilang diet. Kasi napansin nila nung 1996, parang ang daming mga elite na nananalo coming from the Ethiopia and also from Africa. So ito yung nakita nilang isa sa mga macronutrient intake nila. So mataas yung kanilang consumption ng carbohydrates. It's above 65%. And they have said na malakas talaga yung kanilang consumption when it comes to complex carbohydrates. Ano po yung complex carbohydrates sa particular na halos kinakain nila? Ito po ang sweet potato, yung kamote natin. Alam ko po familiar kayo sa mga kamote, no? Ang Pilipino, mga Pinoy, may hilig dyan. So, ang mga kamote, iba-iba yung kulay niya. We have like yellow, we have purple, iba sobrang dark ng pagiging yellow. Did you know that sweet potato is actually a complex carbohydrates and yung dilaw, ito ay nagbibigay ng beta-carotene which is good for your eyes, for your immune system, for your skin. And also, ito naman pong anthocyanin na makukuha natin doon sa purple na sweet potato ay nagbibigay sa atin ng boost sa immune system natin. At the same time, nakakapag-protect sa mga cancer and different types of diseases. At ang maganda po dito sa sweet potato na to, sa mga complex carbohydrates natin, ay it reduces post-workout inflammation. Importante po na magkaroon tayo ng recovery, no, sa ating katawan when we are engaging in physical activity. At syempre, may mga inflammation talaga na ma-experience tayo. Kaya kailangan makakain tayo ng mga gantong klaseng pagkain para makatulong mapababa yung inflammation sa ating pangangatawan. Now, another thing is, bukod sa carbohydrates, so from simple to complex carbohydrates, we're now going to eating right when it comes to in terms of protein. So may dalawang tayong pinanggagalingan ng protein, which is the animal-based and the plant-based. So alam naman natin yung animal-based source of protein, ito yung mga fish nyo, chicken nyo, and then you have your eggs. And then ito pong mga animal-based protein ay complete protein talaga sila. But always remember na when it comes to eating animal-based protein, kahit naman po sa plant-based protein, we have to consider the portion sizes. Ibig sabihin, yung protein po ay dapat hindi rin po sobra-sobra yung ating kain. Alam po natin yung protein ay kailangan natin para mag-build po yan ng ating muscles. Lalo na pag ikaw ay nag-i-engage sa workout, nagkakaroon po ng repairing yung tissue natin, kailangan po natin ng protein. But meron din po tayong tinatawag na enough amount of protein na dapat lang po sa ating katawan. Hindi rin po dapat susobra. Kasi anything na excess, lahat po nung excess ay delikado sa ating katawan. Marami po tayong pasyente na sad to say, nagkaroon po sila ng kidney disease. It started when they keep on eating a lot of protein, rich food. So yun po ay pwede mag-convert into uric acid kasi byproduct nun ay uric acid. Yung iba po nating kasamahan na tumatakbo at saka talaga nag-i-engage into physical activity, tsaka sports. Alam nyo po, meron silang arthritis, meron silang kidney disease, kidney stones. So nakakalungkot because nasobrahan sila ng kain doon sa protein-rich food. Now, let us always remember how much is one serving of protein food. Now, yung matchbox size, ito po yung serving sizes ng meat natin per serving. So ganyan lang po yung kaliit, no? Talagang ganito lang yan. Kumbaga, ganito lang kalaki lang po talaga ang matchbox. So another serving will be here, another serving will be here. So isang palad yan, that will be 3 servings already of your meat. So tatandaan natin, per serving po nung meat nyo, like for the chicken, it will give you 10.3 grams of protein na. For the beef naman and lean meat, 8.6 grams of protein. And for the tuna fillet in vegetable oil, 9.3 grams of protein. And for the anchovy, ito yung mga dilis, 35 grams of protein, yung ganyang kakapiranggot, no? Ngayon po, dapat tatandaan din natin na kumbaga yung dinetermine ng inyong dietitian will be like, example lang po, nasa 70 to 100 grams of protein for the whole day. Pag susobra tayo doon sa matchbox o doon sa mga dami ng binigay sa inyo ng dietitian, hindi po maganda yon dahil pwede po kayo magkaroon ng kidney stone at delikado po kung magkakaroon kayo ng renal failure dahil po overeating of protein-rich food. So, importante na talagang babantayan natin. Medyo mas dadamihan nyo na lang yung gulay na halo dun sa mga karne nyo kung if you're going to choose a animal-based protein. Now, dito naman po sa plant-based protein, hindi po siya ganun kadami when it comes to the protein content. Pero maganda po dito, kaya po niyang i-sustain tayo dun sa protein needs natin when we eat a variety at yung dami din po nila. Ngayon, for instance, for this munggo, ang munggo po kilala yan ng mga Pinoy. So ito pong plant-based protein, they are protein carbohydrates combination. Ang maganda po dito, combine po yung protein at carbohydrates niya. Bakit? Yung protein po, it build and repair the muscles, while the carbohydrates, it fuel the muscle. So maganda po combination yung plant-based protein. At the same time, ito pong munggo, per 100 grams po niya, ay nagbibigay na po ito ng 11 grams of protein, at yung carbohydrates niya, mga nasa 27 grams of carbohydrates. While yung inyong peanut, nagbibigay na po agad dito ng 33.2 grams of protein. Malaki po yung kaya niyang ibigay sa atin per 100 grams. And yung tofu niya is 12.9 grams of protein at 2 grams of carbohydrates. So, hindi po siya kasing kompleto ng karne when it comes to amino acids, yung building block of protein. Pero when you combine the beans and the rice, nagko-complement sila, we call them complete protein na. Kasi nga po, yung beans, they are lacking with methionine amino acid. Pero mayaman sila sa lysine. Yung brown rice naman natin, they are rich in methionine, pero they are lacking lysine. So pag kinumbine mo sila, kompleto na yung amino acid. So parang kumain ka na ng complete meal pag pinagsama mo yon. Also, like your whole wheat bread with peanut butter, yun po ay complete protein na makukuha nyo doon. So maganda lang dito sa plant-based protein, you can eat more. Kumbaga marami-rami yung makakain mo at yung protina naman ay ma-reach mo yung kailangan mo. Doon naman sa animal, medyo mga matchbox size lang siya. And then, kailangan babantayan mo talaga yung serving portion niya. But dito rin, kailangan mo rin ng portion serving. Pero mas marami ka lang makakain compared doon sa plant-based protein. Okay, let's now proceed naman doon sa isang study. Ito yung study po ng food and micronutrient intake ng mga elite Ethiopian distance runners. They have found out na yung kanilang intake ng protein ay 76% was derived from vegetable sources. So kung makikita nyo dito sa ating slides, mas madami silang kumain ng lentils, mas mahilig silang kumain ng mga beans and chickpeas. At proven nila na ito yung pinaka-sources talaga nila ng protein at nakakapag-sustain ng kanilang activities. Now, let's now proceed doon naman sa eating right when it comes to our fat. So, meron tayong tinatawag na bad fat and good fat. Bakit bad fat, no? Because of its concentrated yung kanyang saturated fat. It has cholesterol. Of course, yung fats po, importante yan sa ating katawan. Not too much. Dapat lang po, meron tayong recommendation. Individually, magkakaiba. Pero sa mga athlete, meron din tayong guidelines on that. Pero when we are choosing to eat the fat item, dapat po ay pipiliin natin yung mga good fat. Yung intact pa doon yung mga essential nutrients niya. At saka talagang tinatawag natin silang whole food, no? Whole food meaning to say talagang kaya nating kakainin natin siyang buong buo at less po yung kanyang process. Hindi siya dumaan sa proseso talaga. So yung mga bad fat, ito po yung mga nakikita nyong talagang sa ugat natin ay dumidikit at nagkukos po ng heart disease, stroke, at diabetes din po. So kung pipili po tayo between bad fat and good fat, much better po na piliin natin good fat, whole food po sila, at saka hindi lang po fat yung maibibigay nila sa inyo, kundi yung kagandahan ng pangangatawan at makakaiwas sa sakit. Now, let me just share with you the avocado. Ito pong avocado na ito, maganda po kung season ito, kung halimbawa meron po ito marami yung production dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi itong avocado, did you know na ito po ay 60% monounsaturated fatty acid, which is good for our heart. And it has B complex. Alam niyo po sa mga B complex, yung niacin, thiamine, yung mga B6 nyo, yan po ay makikita nyo ang avocado ay halos kumpleto po when it comes to B complex. And B complex po, kailangan po natin yan for metabolism of our fat. And also po, ang avocado has folate, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K for clotting and for our immunity, and anti-inflammatory properties for fast recovery time. So if we're going to choose po yung fat, mas mainam yung whole food na fats at saka po yung marami pong maibibigay sa inyo na benefits, especially this avocado. Wag niyo lang pong hahaluan yan ng mga sugar, okay, ng milk kasi po talagang it can palpitate. Pwede kang mag-palpitate, pwedeng tataas yung fats mo pa. So, mas mainam, kakainin mo lang yan. Ako, ginagawa ko dyan when I travel, nilalagay ko lang yan sa tinapay, pinampapalaman ko lang yan. So, kung talagang you are, kung sanay yung dila mo na kumain ng mga natural food, mas malalasahan mo yung avocado, yung natural taste niya. At actually, ang lasa po niyan ay parang butter. So, yan po yung natural butter na hindi dumaan sa process. Okay? And then let's just proceed to the essential nutrients. Ito po yung mga kailangan ng kababaihang athlete, no? Yung mga nabanggit natin, lahat yun kailangan natin. At ito pong essential nutrients, ito po yung mga kailangan na nutrients ng mga kababaihang engaged in sports. So yung iron, folic acid, calcium, B vitamins, and zinc. So alam natin na malaking bagay po yung calcium to build our bones, to build our immune system, yung B vitamins natin, yung zinc din po. Alam natin during the pandemic, naririnig natin yung zinc. You have to take zinc vitamins or yung mga pagkain mayayaman sa zinc. Pati po yung iron, importante yan. Lalo na po tayo ay monthly, nagkakailanganin po natin ng iron supplement for our system. And also folic acid kasi po, kumbaga tayo ay childbearing na mga tao, na mga kababaihan. So kailangan po natin yan to prevent mga birth defect. So ngayon po, ito po yung mga pagkain mayayaman sa essential nutrients. Ito po yung talbos ng kamote. Sino po yung mahilig niya sa talbos? Yung talbos ng kamote, yan yung isinasalad mo lang, nilalagyan mo lang ng kalamansi, ng asin, kaya pati ng kamatis at sibuyas. So it has 12.4 milligrams of iron per 100 grams ng talbos ng kamote. Alam niyo po, pati yung sabaw yung pinaglagaan pwede niyo pong gawing tea. Lalagyan niyo lang ng kalamansi and then little honey. So pwede niyo na siyang gawing tea. And what else po? Itong ampalaya dahon, yung tinatawag natin bitter gourd leaves. Mapait po yan, pero napakatindi ng sustansya niyan at pwede niyo pong ihalo yan sa mga munggo niyo. It has 339 milligram of calcium per 100 grams ng inyong ng ampalaya. So pag hinalo niyo sa mga beans, maganda na po yan. And by the way po, yung mga beans, let me just go back to the beans, hindi po yung nakaka-arthritis ang mga beans ha. Ang nakaka-arthritis po yung hinahalo niyo sa mga beans, sa munggo, yung inyong pong pork, yung inyong tinapa, yung chicken, kasi pag pinag-combine nyo yung animal protein and plant-based protein, sobrang taas na po ng protein doon. At syempre yung animal-based protein ay mataas po sa uric acid. Now, ito naman pong banana, ito yung easy on-the-go source of B6. Folate, thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin. So maganda po yan talaga when it comes to diet ng mga athlete dahil sources siya ng mga folate. Tsaka ang dali-dali po niyang kainin. Kumbaga, bago ka tumakbo, bago ka mag-engage in your workout, pwede ka kumain yan. Pwede naman after ng workout mo, pwede mong kainin. So ito yung pinakamadaling source ng ating mga essential nutrients. And syempre, yung ating chickpea, yung inyo pong garbanzos, yan po ay kung hindi nyo pa natatry, itry nyo po mas mainam dahil it has 19% or 2.07 milligrams of zinc. Zinc po yan per cup. So yung ating chickpeas po ay, if you want to become a plant-based athlete, pwede rin pong i-try nyo itong chickpea kasi po it has zinc and also rich source of protein, plant-based protein. And when it comes to your folate, ito po yung pwede nyo makuha ng source is yung kalabasa nyo. So yung kalabasa, it has 46 international unit of folate. So, ito po yung ating dietary reference intake, Philippine Dietary Reference Intake 2015. So, ito po yung mga required natin na essential nutrients sa adults. And actually po, medyo tumataas pag we are engaging in physical activity. So, by just eating different kinds of food, variety of food, mamimit na natin yung mga essential nutrients na kailangan natin. Now, let me just remind you also that drinking alcoholic, any alcoholic drinks po will decrease your aerobic performance. Siyempre, nakakapag-dehydrate po kasi yung mga alcoholic drinks. And it impairs motor skills and decrease strength, power, and sprint performance. Tsaka po, ang ginagawa po niya is pinapabagal niya yung recovery po ng ating katawan. Kasi pag tayo nag-workout, syempre may mga inflammation, may mga wear and tear, so kailangan po magkaroon ng recovery. Pero pag uminom tayo ng alcoholic drinks, ang nangyayari po, ng mga beverages ay bumabagal po yung recovery time natin. Isa pa po, it increases the risk for nutrient deficiency, especially po your thiamine and B complex. Yung thiamine po kailangan nyo ng ating mga brain. So pag nag-engage tayo sa mga sports, kailangan po natin ng quick thinking, no? Kailangan natin na maging mabilis yung pag-iisip natin. Pero pag kulang tayo sa mga B-complex and thiamine, medyo slow yung ating thinking process, pati yung ating mga gagawin sa buong araw. So, kaya kailangan po medyo bawas-bawasan natin and much better avoid alcoholic drinks. And it also increases risk of illness and injury. And of course po, dinidecrease niya yung immune system natin. And nakakahadlang po siya sa ating tulog. Kala natin pag uminom tayo ng alak, makakatulog tayo. Actually po, hindi naman talaga niya nabibigyan tayo ng magandang tulog. Na-skip natin yung pinaka-deep sleep o yung pinaka-magandang oras ng tulog natin pag tayo ay umiinom ng alcohol. Siyempre, mas mainam sa lahat ng makukulay na inumin dyan at mga bumubula, ang pinaka-best talagang inumin is yung H2O. Tatlo lang siya na chemical structure niya, tatlo lang yung kanyang parang yung kanyang ingredients, no, H2O. Pero sobrang ganda ng kaya niyang gawin sa ating katawan. It cleanses the body, wala siyang side effects, at talaga makakabuti pa ito sa overall health natin. And of course, gusto nating sabihin sa inyo na importante pa rin yung ibabalanse natin yung pagkain natin doon sa activity natin. So ako po yan during the lockdown, I used to go up to our parking at doon po ako nagbabike akyat and then nagja-jump shot, and I do running po. I've been running 21 kilometers and 42 kilometers, and malaking bagay po na talagang lagi po tayo nag-engage into physical activity, into exercise, at dapat po yung kinakain natin, kumbaga balanse yung output, yung ating activity. So, pag kulang yung ating kinakain, tas marami yung activities natin, syempre, papayat naman tayo. Kung halimbawa, marami tayong kinakain, tapos onti lang naman yung activities natin at we're not engaging in sports, syempre, lalaki naman po tayo. So, much better po balanse. Kung ano yung kinakain natin, dapat yun di ay nagagamit natin. So, healthy tips po para sa ating lahat. Number 1, eat fruits first before meal. Bakit po? Madalas po ang mga Pinoy ay nakakalimutan na pong kumain ng mga prutas. At minsan, pag huli itong kinakain natin, pag nakakita tayo na ibang mga pagkain like yung desserts natin, yung mga pastries, yung mga biscuits, mas madalas na isasangtabi natin yung prutas. At yung prutas po, malaking bagay yan para po maging healthy tayo, makaiwas tayo sa mga sakit. At lalo-lalo na po sa mga athlete natin. Dahil ito po yung source ng essential nutrients, phytochemicals to fight diseases, at syempre po, pampaganda po ng immune system natin. At saka po, pag kinain natin yung prutas, unang-una, bago tayo kumain ng main meal natin, tinutulungan po niya yung katawan natin mai-ready para kumain tayo ng pinaka-meal natin. So, nire-ready niyo yung stage para tanggapin natin yung pinaka-main meal natin. And next po, eat with less salty and seasoned food. Discover the unique natural taste of food. Alam niyo po, I have a patient po who said, yung taste pala natin, kala natin, yung masarap pala, kala lang natin, makukuha natin doon sa panglasa na matamis, maalat, maangang, manghang, tsaka maasim. Pero, na-discover niya na yung taste pala, hindi lang yun nakakonfine doon sa maalat, sa matamis, maanghang, tsaka maasim. Kundi, doon din sa mga natural, unique taste ng pagkain. So, better discover yung mga natural taste natin, unique natural taste ng mga pagkain. Doon sa inyong mga cinnamon, doon sa inyong mga prutas, sa inyong mga pagkain, na kung saan mas maganda, imbis na puro salt ang ilagay nyo, yung mga highly seasoned food, much better use herbs and spices at talagang masasarap yung inyong pagkain. And lastly, eating at the right time. Ito po yung kailangan natin, mga athletes, no? Pati po lahat ng kababaihan, lahat po tayo kailangan nating kumain sa tamang oras. Kasi po, breakfast, kailangan importante pong kumain tayo ng breakfast, no? Sabi dito, breakfast, eat like a king. Sa lunch naman po, eat like a queen. And dinner, eat like a pauper. Ibig sabihin parang kagaya ng beggar, no, yung pulubing. Bakit eat like a king sa breakfast? Dahil po sa umaga pa lang, you are going to perform yung whole day activities. Kailangan may fuel yung katawan natin para tayo ay makapag-perform ng tama. So kailangan talaga kakain tayo ng breakfast. And then yung lunch naman, kailangan yan dahil po, syempre, in between ng iyong trabaho, kailangan mo mag-break, pero not as big or as high or as dami ng kagaya ng sa umaga. And then dinner, syempre po, sa gabi, kailangan po magpahinga ng katawan natin. After the workout, kailangan po mag-rest tayo. Kailangan na po yung katawan natin, may circadian rhythm, no? Na kung saan, kailangan po magpapahinga na yung katawan natin papunta sa gabi. Kaya po, dapat ang kinakain na lang natin ay paunti-unti na lamang. Kasi, pag nagtutulog tayo, hindi na po dapat nagda-digestion yung ating tiyan. Kundi nagpapahinga na rin po yung ating tiyan at nagpapahinga na yung buong organs natin at para naman po, ready yung katawan natin kinabukasan. Kaya po, always remember, according to Ms. Cynthia Sash of American Dietetic Association, the biggest trend I see is a back to the basic approach, getting away from highly processed foods and back to whole foods. Dapat po talaga whole food tayo. Bakit? Kasi every time you eat or drink, you are either feeding diseases or fighting it. So lagi po iisipin natin, kahit tayo ay very active when it comes to sports and nag-engage talaga tayo sa physical activity, kailangan po lahat ng kakainin natin, lagi natin pag-iisipan kung ito ay nakakapag-feed ba ng sakit, magkakasakit ba tayo, o nilalabanan natin yung sakit. At always remember, kaya naman po tayo gusto maging healthy, not only for ourselves, dahil po sabi sa 1 Corinthians 10:31, therefore, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Kasi itong katawan natin ay templo ng banal na spirito at hindi ito sa atin talaga, pinahiram ng Panginoon at we were bought with a price. So, let us glorify God sa lahat ng ating kakainin, iinumin, sa lahat ng ating gagawin at maganda na nag-glorify natin ating Panginoon in our competitions, in our sports na sinasalihan natin, sa lahat ng gagawin natin, we give glory and honor to our Creator. At alam ng Panginoon kung ano makakabuti sa ating katawan.
That's a very insightful sharing, Ms. Eden. To moderate the following discussion, let's welcome back Commissioner Kiran.
Thank you, Eden, for sharing us your expertise. We have some questions for you. One is, what are the advantages of a plant-based diet vis-a-vis yung animal-based diet?
Thank you for the question. Though we know that animal protein has complete amino acid needed by your body, however, we cannot get rid then dun talaga sa cholesterol and saturated fats na meron sila. Isa pa is, yun nga nabanggit natin kanina na yung portion sizes niya. So kung halimbawa, ang binigay sa inyo ng inyo dietitian is like 3 mash bags or 5 mash bags of meat or 5 servings of meat, then you have to stick with that kasi anything na susobra doon will be very detrimental to your kidneys and to your health. So when it comes to plant-based naman, medyo mas marami lang talaga yung volume niya compared doon sa animal-based protein. And then doon sa may plant-based protein ay yung protein niya hindi ganun kataas, pero when you eat a variety of that and marami din yung volume niya, mabubusog na tayo, mamimit pa natin yung kailangan natin na protein for the whole day. Thirdly, yung plant-based protein ay meron po silang fiber. Ito talaga yung very unique kasi wala siya doon sa sa animal-based protein. So yung plant-based protein, may fiber siya na kailangan po natin for our gut health, yung ating tiyan, yung ating good bacteria. Ito po yung mga pagkain ng good bacteria natin para ma-boost yung immune system natin, para we get rid of diseases, at ganoon din po para ma-excrete natin yung mga toxins sa ating katawan. So ito yung malaking bagay na advantage ng plant-based protein when it comes to overall health.
Yan. Totoo ba ang prutas ay dapat kainin bago tayo kumain ng ating meals, or ang sabi nila, after meals naman? Totoo ba ito?
Kasi yung mga fruits kasi, madali silang ma-digest. At ang maganda dito, makukuha agad natin yung mga nutrients na kailangan ng katawan natin para magkaroon ng magandang digestion. Yung magandang digestion yung katawan natin doon sa mga pagkain na kakainin natin. Ngayon, pag inuna kasi natin yung mga main meal, minsan nakakalimutan natin talagang kumain ng prutas. Pangalawa, pag kinain natin prutas ng huli, ang nangyayari, since madali nga siyang ma-digest, nagkakaroon po ng fermentation yung pagkain natin. Madalas yung mga pag-aasim sa tiyan natin ay yung naghalo-halong carbohydrates, protein, fats, tapos nandun pa yung fruits na mabilis ma-digest. So, mas mainam po talaga na 30 minutes before meal, kakain na tayo ng prutas. At ang maganda po kasi, kung gagawin natin to, nalilinis po yung ating taste buds, no? Para matanggap natin yung talagang, kumbaga pag nalinis yung taste buds natin, we can easily distinguish between yung pagkain na sobrang fatty, sobrang unhealthy, doon sa mga pagkain sobrang sustansya. At mapapansin mo, pag kumain ka ng mga prutas, pag inuna mo yung prutas sa meal mo, ang gaan ng pakiramdam mo. At talagang mas pipiliin mo kumain ng healthy. If you still want to eat fruits after meal, I suggest na bigyan mo at least na mga 1 to 2 hours yung kain mo from the main meal, para naman magiging snacks na lang siya, at ang mangyayari sa kanya ay nagsiset siya ng another time para, or nire-ready niya yung katawan mo para kumain ulit ng second meal mo, which is your lunch. Okay?
We learned a lot from you, Eden. Thank you so much. Back to you, Clarissa.
Thank you, Commissioner Kiram and Miss Eden. It's definitely exciting to learn so much on how we can take care of our health by starting with a proper, nutritious diet. Coming up is a short video from Pocari Sweat. They would like to remind everyone that hydration is equally important as proper nutrition and diet. Let's watch this video. Don't forget to hydrate yourself with water or a bottle of Pocari Sweat. Stay tuned until the end of the episode for the winners of last week's feedback form survey. So please do answer our feedback form for a chance to win a Pocari Sweat gift pack. We are now on the second half of today's show. To help us understand better our eating behaviors and habits is Dr. Maria Luisa Gunto. She is an associate professor, research director, and sports psychologist of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Show some love for Dr. Ginto.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this segment on psychology of eating. Most of the questions I get related to this would be something like this. How do thoughts, feelings, and relationships affect eating? Well, a lot. First of all, a study shows that when shoppers are hungry, their shopping behavior are very different. Okay, so people who shop in a supermarket when hungry don't buy more food, but they tend to buy more high calorie products. Okay, so Weight Watchers should have a snack before shopping or going after lunch. Therefore, it's not a good idea really when you're in a hurry and you're hungry and you would say to yourself, oh, let me just get a few more items in the grocery so I can eat well. Let's do it reverse. Okay, you eat first, then you do your shopping after lunch or after you had your snack or meal. So it's also a good idea to make a specific list of grocery items, stick to it, because a lot of times our moods dictate what we shop for. All right. There's also such a thing as comfort eating, and the study that established this really talked about fans watching a game that where their idols lost. Okay, and so they found out that when a sports team loses, their fans eat more junk food the next day. Okay, so the effect is found to be greater in areas with the most committed fans. So the more die-hard the fans, the more intense the results are. So when opponents are equally matched and defeats are narrow, yung kamuntik-muntikan ng nanalo, yan ang mas intense yung feelings. So it is good to focus more on the ranking and discussing the core values of the team and how they did well than emphasizing how they lost, nakakahinayang, etc. Because if you are drinking and eating, there will be a higher consumption of fat, okay? And this is very contradictory to the winners' behaviors. Those who actually celebrate, all right, consume less fat, okay? So that's a very important finding there. All right, it's also possible to think yourself full, all right? And research shows that it's also possible to trick people into feeling less hungry because this sensation of hunger went with how much people thought they had consumed. So if they thought they consumed a lot, they would likely report to feel less hungry than if they thought they didn't have enough, and therefore they will report higher incidence of hunger. So food that have labels like light, less fat, and diet ingredients could actually be counterproductive because they make us think that we are less satisfied or did not eat enough. So we are rationalizing to eat more because we didn't eat enough anyway, or we didn't consume much anyway. All right? Now, research also shows that sleep deprivation affects our eating behavior because sleep loss is stressful. Okay, so late bedtimes allow more waking time for eating, and late night snacks tend to be more fattening. So, whatever it is that you eat, whether it's exactly the same item that you eat for lunch and midnight snack, the effect is that it is more fattening when you eat it at night. Okay, so timing is very important. And they established that the decreased activity in cortical evaluation regions of the brain, the frontal cortex, specifically where the thinking, logical thinking and rational thinking happens, together with that increased amygdala activity prompts our desire for high-calorie fattening foods at this time of the day, especially when we are sleep deprived. Okay, it is also possible to prime indulgence. Now, let's look at these two pictures at the right of the screen. And these were actually used in an experiment. And they found out that seeing overweight people can lead us to eat more. Because some people post pictures of fat people on the refrigerator so that they will avoid looking like that. Some people would post the picture of their celebrity with their ideal weight, which is their target look or target shape. And they found out that those who put the pictures of fat people to avoid them actually lead them to eat more. So they found out also that those who saw the larger model took more sweets than those who saw thinner images. Okay, so there was a significant difference there. And this is known as the anchoring or reassurance effect, that what you look at, what model you actually look up to anchors you on the behavior or the perceived behavior of that person. So it like when you have a fat picture, it's like you're anchoring and said, well, I'm not as big as that person, so maybe I can still eat more. Okay. There's also such a thing as social facilitation of eating among friends and strangers. Okay. Wow. This study found out that meals eaten with other people are larger than meals eaten alone. Okay, kaya nga sabi nila sometimes when you get married, you gain weight because you tend to consume more with your partner than when you were single. Okay, and the study established that those who ate in pairs and groups of four ate more than those who ate alone, suggesting that the mere presence of others is more important in enhancing intake than the specific number of people present. Okay, so the more you enjoy the company of your friends, the more that you will tend to eat. So those with friends ate more dessert than subjects who were with strangers, indicating that the relationship of dining companions is an important factor contributing to social facilitation. So the more that we enjoy each other's, and besides, if you notice when you're having reunion with your friends, you really tend to even over order. Okay, you order a lot, and because you don't want to waste the food, you end up eating a lot. And because you are talking for long periods of time, you end up finishing what's on the plates, and consuming much more because you're enjoying each other's company. Okay, there's also what we call the obesity contagion. What is this? Okay, it's like a viral. Okay, and this is very familiar to us because we're here in this time of COVID. And they found out through social network analysis that indicates that obesity spreads like a virus. Friends have similar body build, meaning to say when you move around people who have similar eating patterns, you tend to gravitate towards them. And the more you gravitate towards them, the more those behaviors are entrenched. So the norms for acceptable body build, portion size of food, etc., may be passed, okay, or what we say contaminated among friends to influence weight. Of course, the contamination or contagious effect of eating behavior is unlike the physical virus, for instance, but it's really more like the social behavior and the passing on of norms. Therefore, you will also notice within a family that similar eating behaviors, similar values, for instance, on what is the acceptable portion in eating is really passed on within a family. Okay? Of course, what is most familiar to many is what we call the emotional eating. And as a psychologist, I always get this question from my students or even from my clients, that is there such a thing as emotional eating? And if there is such a thing, what is this all about? First of all, emotional eating is eating as a way to suppress or soothe negative emotions such as stress, anger, fear, boredom, sadness, and loneliness. Kaya nga siya tinawag na emotional eating. So, major life events, or more commonly, the hassles of daily life, even let's say driving through traffic, can trigger negative emotions that lead to emotional eating and disrupt your weight loss efforts. So we can see here that emotions really have a very powerful effect on our overall behavior and on our eating behavior in particular. Now, how do we know if we are truly hungry or emotionally hungry? Okay, so if we will look at this table in front of us, we will see the difference. So emotional hunger is sudden and instantaneous. Out of nowhere, you suddenly feel hungry. While physical hunger doesn't happen instantaneously. It usually builds up over time. You kind of feel it in the beginning, but you could ignore it And eventually, when your stomach grumbles and there's really a sensation of emptiness in the stomach, that's real. However, in emotional hunger, there is a specific craving for food items. So it's not just, okay, I need to fill up my stomach so that to silence this growling or rumbling in my stomach, but I need to eat a chocolate. I need to have that bag of chips, okay? And the physical hunger, of course, is time bound also, usually occurs several hours after the last meal. However, emotional hunger does not have that same effect. No, it's independent of time. You can actually feel hungry right after your last meal, or you ate already a full meal, but you still feel hungry and you still have to reach out, let's say, for that glass of wine, those chocolate bars or chips or whatever. Okay? And the physical sensation of hungry disappears after you've eaten a meal for physical hunger, but for emotional hunger, it's not necessarily that way. And despite, for example, the sensation of fullness, there's still that desire or craving. Okay. And the satisfaction is temporary. Okay. So you need to know yourself well enough to be able to distinguish whether you're experiencing emotional hunger or physical hunger. So emotional eating has a very temporary effect. Okay. The emotions that triggered that emotional eating are likely to return right away. And then you will have that added feeling of guilt about eating when you're not hungry or eating more than what your body needs. And if you are in a weight loss program, this will really be a major setback. Okay. So this can also be like an unhealthy cycle or vicious cycle where your emotions trigger you to overeat, and then you beat up yourself, and then you feel terrible, and then you will feel emotionally hungry again, and then the cycle goes on, and it's very difficult to get away from that. So the next concern that people have is, does eating is eating related to mental health? Absolutely, I would say. Well, you have this phenomena of anorexia, and this picture on the right is a real picture that went viral actually in social media, and it belongs to an actress, Rachel Farouk, who is only 37 and 5'7" in height, but only 40 pounds. And she really disintegrated in this body after coming from a normal weight. So, what is anorexia? Okay, first of all, it is an eating disorder characterized by an abnormally low body weight, intense fear of gaining weight, and a distorted perception of body weight. Okay, so it is a disorder that really leads people to this kind of state that could actually be fatal, because when you are underweight, extremely underweight, of course, all your internal organs could shut down and lead to death. So it is an unhealthy way to cope with emotional problems. Normally, it's not the weight itself which is the problem. However, the person begins by wanting to control her weight, but actually there are underlying problems. So when you have anorexia, you often equate thinness with your self-worth. And a lot of this is actually triggered also by what society considers to be a desirable weight. Sometimes it's unrealistic models with very thin bodies, and as early as childhood, girls, for example, are exposed to dolls, Barbie dolls, with unrealistic body proportions. And so we grow up thinking that thinness is actually desirable. Okay? The other emotional, a type of extreme emotional eating that is pathological actually is what we know as bulimia. Okay, what is bulimia? It is actually binge eating of high calorie food. However, it is followed by purging or self-induced vomiting. For those of you who have never experienced this, perhaps you will think that, what? You eat and then you induce vomiting? Yes. Actually, that is the experience of bulimic patients, okay? Whereas anorexia goes with anxiety and constraint, bulimia relates to impaired self-regulation and impulse control. So there is the loss of control, but to regain oneself after losing control because you gave in to eating, you will now induce vomiting to expel that which you were not able to control in your eating behavior. So comorbid with border is this borderline personality. So those who have bulimia also have high predisposition for borderline, for personality disorder, substance abuse, could be also shoplifting, self-mutilation, and sexual disinhibition. So you see, this is a very, very serious case related to eating behavior. So how do we now nurture a healthy relationship with food? Because whether we like it or not, food is a very important component of our daily functioning, and we can actually be at a threat, mental health threat, if we are not able to manage our eating. So the eating part is not just the body, it is actually related to the mind. Now, in this day and age, we are very used to what we call mindless eating. Okay? Mindless eating happens when we consume food without thinking about what we are eating, because we are either multitasking, either using the computer and, by the way, also eating, or eating, but instead of really minding what we are eating, we are scrolling on our phone. How familiar is this to everyone? Or watching Netflix or binging on TV shows while eating. So eating has lost its novelty as a very important activity that we do, that we actually honor and respect. It is just an aside. It is something that we have actually come to make us one of the multiple activities that we can do with others. And this actually is a culprit, because when we are doing mindless eating, from the nature of mindless eating, we are not aware of the calories, the nutrition that we are consuming. Neither are we aware of that feeling of being satiated already. No, napuno na yung tiyan mo, hindi mo mamamalayan kasi nga may ginagawa kang iba. So normally we tend to consume more than what our body needs. Okay? Now, our brain is like our garden, and the roots are nurtured by the food that we eat. So even the health of our brain, our physical brain, and the mind, okay, that is not just physical, but definitely connected to the brain, is nurtured by the food that we eat. Okay? So whatever we eat actually affects the brain. So studies have also found out that 95% of serotonin, or the feel-good hormone in the body, is created in the gut. It is not something that we create in our mind. The serotonin, which is a hormone, is actually generated by the food that we consume in our gut. And so our mood is definitely shaped by our food. There is no guessing anymore about this. Our moods have already been established as being shaped by our food. And that gut feeling that we use as a term, when we say that I feel it in my gut, I have the gut feeling, is actually real, because that gut has a feeling, and that mind is also nourished. So we cannot say that the gut has no intelligence, or that the mind doesn't have food. Okay, so we need to be able to make that connection. So when we talk about best foods for our brain, we need to also be mindful that specific foods are actually good for the functioning of our brain and the health of our minds. Okay, so whole foods, for instance, nuts, vegetables, and fruits, high fiber, fruits and vegetables and seeds are actually very good for our brain. Okay, so they are the fuel of our brain. So if you would like to treat your brain to good food, then you will be mindful about feeding what it needs. Okay, and of course, a lot of the whole food and plant-based diet has been found to be good for the brain, where the minimum consumption of fats and oils, okay, are recommended, followed by leafy greens, legumes, greens, vegetables, and fruits. So the biggest part of the pyramid, the widest part, is really the fibrous fruit and vegetables, followed by greens and legumes, leafy greens, and finally minimal fats and oils. Okay, so if you want to treat your brain to good food, then think about these. All right. They also found out through studies that there are foods that actually fight stress. Okay, and as you will see in the pictures, these are very colorful foods. So one of the what they call this, the reminders is the more colorful and the closer the color is to its natural form, the better it is actually for our brains. So the suggestion and the recommendation is to increase the intake of whole grains, legumes, green vegetables, fruits, and nuts, and olive oil if you have to consume oil or fat, and decrease our intake of sugary drinks and food, caffeine, high-fat dairy products, and even red meat. Okay, so okay, there is a way to feed our brains right. And later on, Eileen will be talking about mindful eating, but just let me go through this in passing that instead of making or eating one of the multitasks that we do 3, 4, or 5 times a day, let us stop and pause and really mind what we eat. How do we do this? First of all, let us slow down, okay? Let us avoid hurrying and making eating part of the task that we can do in a snap of a finger. Okay, let us sit down at a real table, not just on the counter or while walking. I used to do this when I was a student. I would walk with my sandwich from one building to another, and then by the time I reach the other building, I'm done with my lunch. Okay, so finding your place on the table, slowing down, making sure that you cook, if you can cook your own meals and eat it with a good mood, okay, while you are deliberately feeling and tasting your food, okay, the texture and smelling it and tasting it. And that if you, for example, can put even a soft or relaxing music in the background, that's even better. And of course, drinking water and then eating your favorite food last instead of the beginning, and being mindful of your own body and health. Okay, so mindful eating means being totally present when you're eating your food and attending to the nuances, the characteristics, the features of the food, and allowing all your sensations to actually be involved as you eat. Okay, and multitasking is not equivalent to any form of mindful eating. Okay, so eating well is a form of self-care. Okay, so if we consider that everything that we consume, that everything that we ingest through our mouths and drink is actually part of self-care, then we will be more mindful, we will be more deliberate, we will be more intentional in eating the food that is good for our brains, for our body, and for our whole body mind. Okay. So I'd also like to call attention that what we mentioned a while ago as a whole food plant-based diet has actually health benefits that go beyond what is good for the mind. And I think we are very familiar with this, all of which are good for the body that houses the brain. Okay, there is no other place where the brain will be will live or be located except in the bodies that we have. So we better take care of the body that we have, the only one that we have in this lifetime, and make sure that we eat food that will ensure that it is healthy. Okay, so before I finish this session, I'd like us all to remember that We need to eat well, to live well, so that we can be well in body, mind, and spirit. Okay, so thank you, and I'd like to open the discussion now to our questions, and I'd be glad to answer whatever question that our audience or our panelists would like to ask.
Wow, that's a very interesting discussion, Dr. Ginto. It's really interesting how our behaviors also affect the way we eat. To help us delve further into Dr. Ginto's discussion, Commissioner Kiram will be back on stage for a brief Q&A.
Hi, Doc Marisa. Nice to see you again. Talagang suki ka namin. May question lang ako. This pertains to myself. Kapag stress ako, pag may chips dyan o kaya chocolate, nakakain ko para lang ma-relieve ako. Tama ba ito?
Okay, so like what we mentioned in the session about emotional eating, first let us recognize that there is such a thing as emotional or stress eating, and that we cannot regulate something we don't know. So, self awareness always precedes self regulation. You cannot regulate your stress eating if you do not know first what triggers your stress eating. This means that we need to be aware what gets us stressed. Okay, what are the triggers? Is it something like going overtime at work? You're tired already, but you can't say no, so you go on, and before you know it, you're very stressed. And to relieve yourself, you will reach out for that bar of candy or chocolate or snack on chips because I deserve it after working so hard. I'm so stressed. I deserve to eat. Okay. Or you're stressed because you're trying to adopt to some people that you really don't like to work with. So while you cannot change your environment, to be aware that my irritation is rising, I'm getting stressed because it's already past 8 hours and I'm compelled to do this, then I need to step back and relax myself, maybe drink a glass of water, be mindful that maybe I need to just walk around the floor or the village to get some fresh air instead of reaching the point of no return where the only thing you can do now is grab that the food that I always crave for. So that's one, no? Self-awareness. And then, of course, when you are aware already and ready to regulate yourself, then you also have to engineer your environment, meaning to say, you know very well that you are going to reach out for the most convenient or easiest food or the fast food near your office or your house, then you would have to prepare the food that you will eat at any point in the day, whether it's part of the 3 meals or snacking in between your work, make it more available. Because the reality is, we eat what is available, even our refrigerator. If the eye level in the refrigerator is really full of sweets and all junk food, then that's what we're going to really eat, no? So they also found out in research that by simply changing the arrangement of our food in our pantry or refrigerator will change behavior. So for example, in an experiment, they put, let's say, vegetables and fruits and snacks that are healthy at the eye level, and they put all those that are less healthy down in the shelves of the pantry or at the refrigerator. Behaviors were actually changing and affected by that. No? The food choices really would help people to eat more the food that they see at the eye level. So that's very important. No? Knowing ourselves and then making sure that the environment is supportive of our desire to eat properly, not just to stress eat. Okay, so in response to the question, how how do we deal with stress eating? What is it all about? The first really is self-awareness, to be mindful about what we eat and consume, and to avoid multitasking also. Kasi If I'm stressed, I normally am not able to regulate what I put in my mouth. And if I join it with scrolling my phone or watching Netflix because I'm so stressed, I deserve to watch my favorite telenovela or what. And while you're watching, you're also eating because I deserve to take a break. Well, that's problematic because we are already multitasking while we're eating, so that will definitely affect the consumption of the food and, of course, the meaning making. I deserve to eat. While that is true, we can also say, I deserve to eat good food. And therefore, I'm going to prepare it, I'm going to make it convenient, I'm going to make it within reach. So these interventions are based on an authentic knowledge of myself that I tend to grab, which is closer to me. And when I'm stressed, I crave for the salty and the sweet food. Okay, so I'm gonna look for substitute. I'm gonna help myself. Okay, so again, self knowledge, self awareness precedes self regulation. Okay.
Thank you, Doc Marisa, for your sharing. Hope to see you again. Back to you, Clarissa.
Thank you, Dr. Gintal and Commissioner Kiram. I hope our audience picked up tips and insights to be applied to their eating habits. We are down to our last segment for today's show. Give me a thumbs up if you're looking forward to our weekly dose of guided meditation. I'm giving the floor to Miss Aileen Tupas, eating psychology coach and meditation teacher trainer, to discuss mindful and eating and lead us into a meditation that will help support healthier eating habits. Once again, let's welcome Miss Aileen Tupas.
All right, thank you. Welcome. And it's a pleasure and a privilege to accompany you in yet another episode of Rise Up, Shape Up. And so for this particular session, I was invited to say a little bit about the practice of mindful eating and then to lead a short meditation that would be supportive of healthier eating habits. And so if this is the first time that you're joining us in these sessions, you might not be familiar with what mindfulness is. And so I'm just going to review the definition I've been providing in previous episodes. And so when we talk about the practice of mindfulness, I like drawing on the definition provided by Jon Kabat-Zinn, who's the founder of mindfulness-based stress reduction. And he really just describes mindfulness as a special way of paying attention. So we've been paying attention our whole life. We typically need to pay attention when we're doing anything important. And so when we're being mindful, we're just paying attention in a particular way, okay? So first, when we're being mindful, we're paying attention on purpose. There's an intentionality underlying the act of being mindful. And second, we're paying attention to whatever is happening in the present moment. So there's a moment to moment focus in terms of what we're devoting our attention to. And then the third characteristic of mindfulness is that whatever it is that we're observing in the present moment, whatever it is that's arising in our experience, we pay attention to it without judgment. We pay attention to it with kindness and warmth and humor and curiosity. Okay, so if you just take all of those descriptions and combine them with the activity of eating, mindful eating is therefore basically eating in a manner that involves paying attention to the food that we're eating, paying attention to the act of eating as it unfolds from one moment to the other. So we're exquisitely aware of putting the food in our mouth. We're aware of the fact that we're chewing. We're aware of the flavors that are released in our tongue. Okay. And as we go about this process of eating, we're just allowing the process to unfold without judging it. Okay. So that's what it means to eat mindfully. Now, the question is, what has any of that got to do with eating healthier? Okay? Mindful eating has practical consequences in two ways that I'm going to discuss, which make it supportive for anyone who's interested in cultivating healthier dietary habits. And then the first thing is that when we eat mindfully, the very act of paying close attention to what's happening when we eat invites us to slow down. It's kind of hard to notice all the fine details of our food if we're inhaling our food. Okay? So when we start paying close attention, the act of paying attention automatically requires us to slow down. And this doesn't just happen when we eat. Anytime we do any kind of mindful activity, it usually requires us to slow down. Okay? And the slowing down is really important because some of you might have heard of this. It takes 20 minutes for the brain to start registering that it's full from the moment that we begin to eat. So in a way, regardless of how much we actually eat, in 20 minutes, the brain will start reporting that, okay, that's it, we're full. And so if we're eating in a rush, if we're eating fast, we end up putting a lot more into our bodies during that 20-minute interval compared to if we were eating slowly, we would literally end up consuming much less. And so if you're interested in weight loss or weight management, mindful eating is supportive because when we eat mindfully, we eat less because we end up feeling full before we've consumed far too much. The second way that mindful eating is supportive is when we pay attention to the act of eating, that actually increases our chances of savoring the food that we're eating. We actually get an opportunity to taste what we're eating, to smell, to look at the colors. Okay? We enhance the pleasure that we derive from eating, in other words. Now, again, why is this important? This is important because when we eat and we don't get any pleasure from the act of eating, the brain actually continues to register hunger. Okay, so if you're eating food that's really sad, or you're just eating mechanically, and you're not actually getting any pleasure, any gratification from the food, as far as your brain is concerned, it's as if you haven't consumed anything. So you will continue to feel hungry, or you might actually start craving something after your meal, which basically means you're eating more. So once again, when we eat mindfully, it doesn't automatically mean that we're going to enjoy our food, because if the food's not inherently enjoyable, then there's nothing much we can do about it. But if the food, is tasty and we're paying attention, we're slowing down, we're going to derive much more pleasure from it, which will allow us to feel satiated and satisfied to a greater degree, okay, which helps regulate appetite and which helps prevent cravings. So one thing that I would suggest, whether or not you're interested in weight loss or management, I just invite you to explore eating more mindfully in the days, the weeks, and the months ahead. And even if there's no health benefit to be derived from it, the fact is, food is one of our greatest sources of joy. It's one of those sources of satisfaction and nurturance that we engage with on a daily level. And so when we eat mindfully, we're really just increasing the joy we get out of daily living. Okay? And so the practice that I'm going to be leading isn't actually related to mindful eating, okay? It contributes, but it's a separate practice, because when we're practicing mindful eating, again, we're eating in a way that allows us to be present to the food, that allows us to fully savor the food, that fully allows us to use all our senses. Okay? So that's what it means to eat mindfully. But the practice that I'm leading is more of a formal meditation practice. Okay? Now, it's still in the realm of food, it's still in the realm of diet, it's still in the realm of eating. And this is a practice which, it's a bit of a clumsy title, but I think you could call it a practice in managing cravings. I'm sure many of you have had experiences where you know that this particular food isn't really good for you, but you have a craving. There's an intense desire to consume something that's salty or sweet or fatty or whatever it is. And so for many of us, those cravings are typically one of our biggest sources of challenge when we're trying to manage our weight or trying to manage our diet. Okay, so in this particular meditation practice, that's what we're going to apply this particular technique towards. And so let me just explain what the mechanics or the principles are behind this technique. So when we do this meditation, okay, when anyone does any meditation for that matter, we're sitting, we're being still for a couple of minutes. During that window of time, we're going to have all kinds of experiences as we sit. We're going to have sensations, maybe your nose starts itching, maybe your knee starts losing sensation, maybe your foot falls asleep. Okay? We're also going to have all kinds of feelings when we meditate. The feelings like, oh, I'm getting so bored, when is this going to end? Feelings of restlessness and impatience and curiosity and a whole bunch of other things. And we're also going to have thoughts when we meditate. Okay? Thoughts like, how many more minutes is this going to take? What is the point of all this? So I'm just sharing the most common thoughts that beginners tend to have. And so when we practice mindfulness meditation, the basic instruction is whatever comes up, whatever sensations you feel, whatever feelings arise, whatever thoughts stream through your head, the invitation is to simply receive all of them without judgment. So if you're bored, no big deal. Okay? We don't try to get rid of the boredom. We don't try to fix it. We don't try to distract ourselves. We don't open our eyes and reach for our phone. Whatever comes up in our internal experience, we just let it be. We learn to be with the discomfort, okay, if the sensation, the feeling, and the thought is uncomfortable. If the feeling, the thought, the sensation is pleasant, same thing, we just let it be. We don't hold on to it. We don't try to make it last. It's really a practice in radically accepting life as it unfolds. Okay, so that's what we're sort of going to be doing. And so some of you might be wondering, well, what does that have to do with cravings? Okay? So consider that, our cravings are emotion-laden thoughts. Okay? There's a thought, I want something. I want a bag of chips. I want a cookie. I want a slice of cake. So it's a thought. And there's a feeling that accompanies it, a feeling of wanting, a feeling of desire, a feeling of anticipation. And there are sensations too. Your stomach might start growling, your salivary glands might start working. And so there's this entire world of thought, feeling, and sensation that accompanies a craving. Now, typically when we get a craving, we don't have much practice in just letting it be. The minute we feel a craving, there's this intense desire to indulge it. Okay? Parang in Tagalog, we say, hindi tayo mapakali. Okay? So this is where mindfulness meditation is a direct bearing on being with our cravings without surrendering to them. Because if we can just learn to be with the discomforts of our usual emotions, thoughts, and feelings and sensations, we're in a way training ourselves for the discomfort of cravings. So if you can sit in mindfulness meditation, even if you're bored and you're just kind of tolerating it, let it be, it's okay. Boredom's not going to kill me, it hasn't killed anyone. And you're going to notice that what happens is that your boredom's going to escalate, and then it hits a peak, and then it slowly starts going down, and then it turns into something else. So we just kind of need to tolerate it for a short while, and then it'll pass. The same thing happens to our cravings. Okay? It will intensify. It'll get worse, and then it'll hit its peak. It'll plateau, and then slowly it'll pass. But the thing is, many of us don't sit long enough with the craving. just as it's intensifying, we immediately act, we immediately indulge, okay? And so when we can learn how to tolerate discomfort, mental, emotional discomforts, physical discomforts, when we sit in mindfulness meditation, it is direct training for dealing with the discomfort of cravings. And so that the next time you have a craving, not that I'm saying that this will succeed every single time, right? But the next time you experience a craving, there's much more ease. There's a greater facility in, I can hang out with this craving for 5 seconds. I don't need to stand up and go to the fridge. Okay, let me wait 5 seconds more. So we slowly develop what psychologists call affect tolerance, the ability to tolerate wide ranges of emotion or affect. Okay? This isn't an overnight journey, though. We do need to practice this for the skill to be developed. But, at least you know how it works. So what we're going to do in the time that we have remaining is we're going to just do a mindfulness meditation. Okay, we're going to be focusing on the body and the breath. And then whatever arises in your experience, pleasant or unpleasant, just learn to let it be. If you start getting bored, see if you can resist the temptation to open your eyes and look at the clock. Okay, see if you can resist tapping your fingers or shaking your leg. Learn to be with the discomfort of it. And that will give you some mastery later on when you're dealing with cravings. Okay, so let's begin by just assuming a posture that embodies the qualities of dignity and ease. Allow your spine to be long. Allow the shoulders to relax towards the ground. And then soften your gaze as if you're just letting the light enter your eyes. Or if you wish, you can close your eyes altogether. And let's just ease into the practice by taking 3 cycles of the breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Now gently focus your awareness on the breath. To be precise, focus on the sensations that you feel in your body as you breathe. So as you inhale and as you exhale, you'll notice things like the air touching the inner walls of your nose. You'll notice the shoulders moving up and moving down. You'll notice your chest expanding and contracting. You'll notice your belly rising and falling. So you can just stay with whichever part of the body allows you to track your breath with ease. So you can just pay attention to your shoulders when you breathe, or you can stay with your stomach as you breathe. And as you sit and focus on the breath, the sensations will come up. You'll start feeling things in different parts of the body. Feelings will come up. Thoughts will come up. Now, don't resist them, but don't get lost in them. Acknowledge them briefly, whatever the sensation, whatever the feeling, whatever the thought is. Just acknowledge that it's there without resistance, without trying to fix anything. And then just go back to being mindful of the breath. It's common when we meditate for the mind to wander. That's normal. Don't worry about it. If you're getting distracted, if your mind has gotten lost in thoughts, again, just acknowledge whatever that distraction is. And then just go back to the breath. Whether whatever is coming up, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, just let it be as it is. Acknowledge it briefly. And just go back to being mindful of the breath. Let's practice this on our own for the next 8 to 12 cycles. Inhaling, just being aware that you're inhaling. Exhaling, just being aware that you're exhaling. And as you sit, as you pay attention to the breath, all kinds of things will come up. You'll feel all kinds of things in different parts of your body. You'll feel different emotions, some pleasant, some unpleasant. And your mind will continuously produce thoughts. See if you can just let them all be. Acknowledge them briefly, and then just go back and rest on the breath. Just doing this for a few more cycles. And then as soon as you complete the next exhale, just relax your awareness, pause, and use this pause just to notice if there are any changes in your inner experience. And then slowly taking your time, if you happen to have closed your eyes, you can open your eyes now. Okay, so that was an exercise in mindfulness meditation, being mindful of the body and the breath. And it's really just an opportunity for us to be still. Okay, we're just using our focus on the body and the breath to keep the mind relatively collected and calm. But really what's happening as we sit there, we focus on the breath, is that we're going to feel all kinds of things. You probably noticed your knee was twinging, your nose was itching, you can feel the ventilation against your skin. And there are all these feelings and thoughts coming up. And the whole time you're just, okay, just let it be, just let it be, just let it be. And that develops a skill, which over time you'll find will be helpful when you have to deal with these things called cravings. And so that's it. That's all we have time for. I hope that you found this short session together useful and valuable. And I wish you a beautiful holiday season ahead, filled with all the joys that come with the delights of Christmas. So, namaste.
Thank you so much, Miss Eileen. That's a very good reminder on mindfulness while eating. I'll definitely add this meditation in my own practice. I hope I'd be able to control myself over the Christmas season. And on that note, we are now at the end of today's episode. Now, here are the winners of a Pocari Sweat gift pack. Ana Adria Balite, Vienna Viado, and Joanne Michelle Gesmundo. Congratulations, guys. Thank you for answering our feedback form. If you want to receive gift packs from Pocari Sweat, click on the link to answer our feedback form and be eligible to win a gift pack. Rise Up, Shape Up is brought to you by the Philippine Sports Commission Women in Sports. We would like to thank our partner PAG4 and our event sponsor Pocari Sweat Philippines. We'd also like to acknowledge the PSC Board of Commissioners, Chairman William I. Ramirez, Commissioners Arnold Agustin, Ramon Fernandez, Celia Kiram, and Charles Raymond Maxey. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week for another episode of Rise Up, Shape Up. Don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. Tune in again next week as we discuss physical activities for the differently able. Again, this is your host, Clarissa. Have a marvelous day, everyone. See you again next week. Bye.